Well, Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett calls this a watershed moment in American politics. He strongly supports the president's proposal.
Yeah, but some gun advocates say it's really nothing more than an assault on the Second Amendment. Our Tammy Hughes, she talked to both sides. She's in downtown Milwaukee right now with more on that. Tammy, what did you find out?
Yeah, Brad, Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett told me just a short time ago that he is tired of apologizing to family members who have lost a loved one, especially a child, to gun violence, and that the time to act is now. But I also talked to a gun advocate who told me the president's plan just simply goes too far.
And I've seen politicians for years say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and then they don't do a damn thing about it.
Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett says the time to do something about gun violence is now. He supports the president's proposals, specifically those banning assault weapons and calling for universal background checks. Barrett argued that a background check would have prevented the Azana Salon shooter, Radcliffe Houghton, from getting a gun since he had a restraining order against him.
That's the gaping loophole that we're talking about. That individual could go to armslist.com, avoid going and get a gun that was used to kill people right here in our own community.
But gun advocate Jim Fendry argues universal background checks would have far-reaching consequences on hunters who have to use the bathroom.
One of them would have to make a call of nature, and he would say to his partner, could you hold my rifle while I make that call of nature? And the other would say, sorry, I can't do that.
Fendry represents the Wisconsin pro-gun movement, which is associated with the NRA. Though he says there are a few of the president's executive orders he would support, like more police officers on the streets and more enforcement of laws we already have, he argues this issue is about freedom and protecting the Second Amendment.
Our individual right, while it does not extend to fighter planes, nuclear weapons, or even bazookas, the situation is we should be the equivalent of the light infantryman of the day.
Now, both Fendry and Barrett argued that public opinion was on their side on this issue. I did do some research, and I found just this week an ABC News Washington Post poll was done on this issue, and it found in homes with a firearm, 86% of the people surveyed support universal background checks. And Mayor Barrett said it's those people and other people who support this, what he called common sense legislation. He said those people need to speak up and contact their legislators. Reporting live outside City Hall, I'm Tammy Hughes, Fox 6 News.
Tammy, the mayor seemed very passionate about this, but in looking at background checks and assault weapons, I mean, those two things would seem to have very little impact on the vast majority of gun violence we see in Milwaukee. Did he address that discrepancy at all?
Well, he would disagree with that. In fact, he brought up that example of Radcliffe Houghton. That's a high-profile example because he did have a restraining order against him. And he also talked about Chief Flynn referring to it as the slow-motion mass shooting that we see in Milwaukee when one by one, day to day, people are killing each other. He said many times the chief sees it. These are criminals who shouldn't be getting their hands on a weapon in the first place. And he says that this would really crack down on those crimes.
Well, that'd be interesting if it did. All right, thank you very much, Tammy.